towards Syria. Do you think that Russia and China also could change their situation if they feel that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad is about to fall, or if, for example, the international condemnation increases?
Even if China and Russia and Northern Korea let him down, Iran won't. Iran will support him to the end.
And how far do you think proposing a concrete plan for Russia to help in stepping down al-Assad would come up with the aimed conclusion of ousting al-Assad, for example?
It's not going to happen. Even if Russia just say, okay, we're going to step this man down and get some other face, new puppet, Iran won't allow this.
I mean, we're having different proposals, one from Turkey and another one from Russia, and they might be contradicting, because one, it calls for the ousting of President Bashar al-Assad or the safe exit, and the other one calls for keeping al-Assad and trying to find a solution for all this. So they are both contradicting.
There is no peaceful solution or political solution right now in Syria. We are beyond that after all this bloodshed on the land.
So you don't think that Russia will comply with the Turkish proposal?
No.
And we are still with the Syrian crisis, and from the Washington Post we read, Syrian lawyers collect war crimes testimony. Across Syria and in neighboring Turkey, a small group of lawyers is quietly collecting testimony from Syrians victimized by the vast network of intelligence services that the government has used against the rebellion. They have relayed accusations to rebel-established courts in the 3 Syrian provinces, which have issued more than 140 arrest warrants, most of war-related crimes. The lawyers hope the written accusations will eventually be used against senior government officials in an international court, and they say the outstanding warrants include one for President Bashar al-Assad. Most they expect will be tried in the Syrian courtrooms. It is unclear whether the warrants, let alone the courts, have any authority in a country still officially ruled by Assad, and where the entire legal system is likely to be overhauled if the regime falls. But the lawyers say that to wait for a transitional government would be to invite more summary executions. Our purpose is to prevent revenge killings, said Ali Al-Azir, one of about 300 attorneys in the Free Syrian Lawyers Committee. The best way to do that is to arrest the responsible persons, put them in prison, and have them answer to the law. Ahmed Hassoun, the head of the Lawyers Committee, said the committee has asked the opposition government in exile to grant amnesty to those judged to have been part of the government security apparatus, but who never killed anyone. The lawyers collect testimony at refugee camps, including one in Turkey that is sheltering military officers who defected. They are looking for the names of pilots who dropped bombs on civilian targets, officials who ordered massacre, and supervisors who oversaw interrogations using torture, as well as evidence of bribery, corruption, and rape. About 40 Syrian lawyers are taking testimony from witnesses in Turkey, and the committee plans to open offices in Lebanon and Jordan, which also have large refugee populations. The rest are in Syria. In the southeastern Turkey city of Antakya, the lawyer's office is in a nondescript apartment building with no sign on the door to indicate that inside tales of broken lives are haltingly unraveled. So it's a very intense effort done in order to collect and gather information in case they can try or arrest even the Syrian officials who are responsible for all this violence, or even try President Bashar al-Assad. How do you see all these efforts, and do you think that they are going to succeed in collecting real information, and or they are too optimistic, for example?
We are too optimistic, of course, definitely. These efforts remind me of Mr. Baradei efforts just before the U.S. was occupying and bombing Baghdad and Iraq. It's called last-minute efforts. It's called desperate efforts to save some few lives, but definitely it won't help Syria.
And do you think that the international bodies, if, for example, all these data were collected and they were real and all facts. Do you think that the international bodies will respond to all these?
Well, of course, some strong messages should be sent, some real strong statements, but nothing more.
Mhm.
What can help people on the ground? Nothing.
Do you think that also the revenge between the different Syrian families and the army there in Syria could ignite a civil war, for example, or revenge even between the families there?
Definitely on the large scale, on the long term, it's going to be hostilities between the one family, and I think this is not going to be over unless some justice is being taking place in the country, which is not expected by such a regime.
Mhm. So you don't expect, for example, that after the removal of President Bashar al-Assad, that the situation even would be on the short term a good one. It will take also some time.
On a tactic situation, yes, but not strategic. As I told you, Assad will not step down. He will just give up some of the lands, not all the lands. He will stay as a president of half Syria, of the Shia state.
Mhm. And do you think that with the beginning of the second term of the presidency of U.S. President Barack Obama, do you think that the United States could play a role in the upcoming days?
It's already playing the role. It's already playing the role that Obama promised Israel to take place, to achieve it, to accomplish the main goal, dividing Syria, just as well as Iraq, just as well as Sudan.
Mhm. And now we move to the Independent, and we read, Hamas rival Fatah party stages first Gaza rally since 2007. The Fatah party of Western-backed Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas staged a massive rally today in the Gaza Strip, the first such gathering in the territory since the Islamist Hamas group took control there in 2007, and a reflection of the warming ties between the two rival factions. Throngs camped out overnight in a downtown Gaza Square to ensure themselves a spot for the anniversary commemoration of Fatah 1959 founding, and tens of thousands marched early today carrying Fatah banners. Top party officials arrived in Gaza for the first time since they were ousted from Gaza by Hamas rivals in 2007, and a recorded speech by Abbas, who rules in the West Bank, was also screened to the crowd. Reconciliation between the two factions, however, is still far from coming to fruition. Hamas chief Khalid Mish'al, considered more pragmatic than Hamas Gaza-based hardline leaders, forged a reconciliation agreement with Abbas in 2011. Fatah enjoys Western support, and it has been pressured not to forge a unity deal with Hamas. In the West Bank, Palestinian President Abbas signed a presidential decree changing the name of the Palestinian Authority to the State of Palestine, following the Palestinians' upgraded status at the United Nations as a non-member observer state. So how do you see the relations, or the current relations between Fatah and Hamas?
I think that Fatah leaders, they took advantage of Israel those days because the leaders of Israel are being busy with the elections. So they made this very significant step, of course, to make festivals in Gaza Strip with leaders that you don't even recognize, like Hamas leaders, of course. But it's a positive thing, of course, to see the Palestinian opponents are in one place, celebrating, having fun together.
Mm-hmm.
That's one good thing. I wish it just be repeated again after Israel is finished with its election.
Mm-hmm. And what is the impact of this unity on the Palestinian-Israeli relations, for example?
Well, nothing is going to happen, of course. The same. Hamas's relation are playing some of the politics on the table, some other beyond the table. Of course, Fatah is a true ally to Israel.
But don't you think that Israel could, for example, fear the rapprochement between these two factions?
They already felt this through reports, but I think it's only a fear of a moment of fear that's going to pass without nothing.
Don't you think that this rapprochement between the two rivals could be fruitful one day?
Of course, it's fruitful. It's a well-known fact, but they never act upon it. They never act upon it. I don't know why, but I know why. There is an Israel manipulating both sides.
Here it says Fatah enjoys Western support and it has been pressured not to forge a unity deal with Hamas. So what is the impact of this Western backing on the relation between Fatah and Hamas?
They want, the West and the Israeli leadership, they always want one Palestinian side under their thumb, taking orders from Tel Aviv.
But I mean, don't you think that Fatah can make the best use of this backing in favor or for the benefit of the stalled peace process, for example?
Mr. Yasser Arafat, he used to do such thing very cleverly, but not with Abbas, not with such people. They are, excuse me, they are so small figures politically to achieve such goals with playing with the enemy like Yasser Arafat did. They can't have this.
And with the upcoming elections in Israel this month, so how do you see the situation there? Do you expect the Israeli government, for example, to take any actions against the Palestinians, more violence, more settlements, or it will take the other way around, for example, easing the entry of some goods and products through Gaza and trying to win or calm the situation before the upcoming elections?
First, I'd like to say that as long as Egypt is strong, I think the Palestinians will not suffer so hard as long as we are pressuring Israel to allow Palestinians to live their lives in a free way. But as long as the Palestinians are divided, their victories will always be small victories, nothing big, nothing large. As for your question, I think after the election, nothing positive will appear in the horizon. Maybe just will ease up. Israel will ease up building more settlements on the occupied lands, but just for a while, preparing the event, the stage for the main event in Syria. They never want hard noise in the background in Palestine right now.
So we will wait and see, and the elections this month, we're going to see what the results will be, whether positively or negatively.
I think the leftists are achieving real success before the final event take place. I think the leftist sides are taking real good steps ahead in Israel.
Mr. Amr, we're running out of time, so we're going to wrap up our episode. Dear viewers, I would like to thank my guest in the studio, Mr. Amr Abdurrahman, journalist and political analyst, for joining us. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Many thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the daily debate coming up next. Have a pleasant evening and Merry Christmas to all our Christians.